Hey, my YouTubers and everyone in the world. Today is September the 16th. The time is now 8:51 p.m. guys. It's going to be a beautiful Friday all day. If you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and that notification bell so you guys can see more of me. And of course, visit my website, adaycreations.com, because it's so lit. Now, today we're going to be talking about 7 things that make people look desperate in new relationships, guys. Yes, it's important for us to talk about this topic. Now, the first thing that makes most people look desperate in new relationships is writing long, drawn out text messages. Like, when you are talking to a new partner, you kind of want to keep it short and kind of brief. But when you draw out the conversations and it's like you just got these long paragraphs after paragraphs after paragraphs, it kind of makes you look desperate, guys. Do not do that. Keep it short, keep it brief, keep it honest and straight to the point. You don't have to extend everything. Over time, you guys will get to know each other and then you can, have more of a conversation. But in the beginning, you want to keep it short and brief and just get to know each other. Now, the second thing that makes people look desperate in new relationships, guys, is double texting your partner. A prime example of this is, let's say I'm talking to someone, like, let's just say you talking to someone new, obviously, and you text that person and they don't text back immediately. A lot of people start to get a little bit of anxiety. Maybe they start overthinking the situation, thinking the person is doing something or whatever. The point is, when you double text, meaning you text them right after that, like, hey, I just text you. Why is it taking you so long to respond? It makes a person look desperate. It makes it seem like you're just sitting there waiting for that person to text you. And even if you are, they should never know about it. So if you text them and they take forever to text back, it could be a game. Maybe they want to see how patient you are. But if you're constantly texting them back to back to back and getting upset because they're not responding, it makes you seem kind of clingy and very, very desperate. And that's a turn off for most people. Now, the third thing that makes people look desperate in new relationships, guys, is showering a person with gifts, giving them gifts and, all these expensive gifts and making them, feel like that's the lavish life and that's how it's always going to be. But it's okay to sit there and give a person gifts once you get to know them. Once y'all establish that the relationship is official and you guys love each other and, both of y'all are doing it for each other. But if you only been dating somebody for about, a few weeks or maybe a month or 2 months and already you're buying them expensive gifts and stuff, that starts the relationship off in a very negative way, because what happens is they start to rely on that and always expect something from you. If you're showering them with gifts, it's like you're trying to buy their love. And that's not a good sign, especially not too early in a relationship. You want to get to know a person. You want to see what they're about. You want to see if that person is for you. You don't want them to think, okay, I'm going to stay in this relationship because I'm going to benefit from it. I'm going to get these lavish gifts and all this jewelry and all these sneakers and clothes and bags and whatever cars and things that people like. You want that person to love you for you, not for finances or just for security purposes. You want them to actually love you for who you are. So you don't want to give them too many gifts too fast. Taking them out to eat, going to the movies, going to an art museum, things like that is cool. But when you start buying them a lot of gifts, then sometimes it can become a problem because they start to expect that. Now, the fourth thing that makes people look desperate in new relationships, guys, is expressing your feelings way too soon. Now, I know that it's important for you to want to express yourself and let the person know how you feel about them, but I do feel like it has to be time consumed. I mean, meaning like it has to be like the timing has to be right. You can't do it too early. If you've been dating somebody for about a month or maybe 2 months and already y'all falling in love and stuff, I mean, that's expected, but you don't want to tell them all the feelings that you have. You don't want to seem like, oh my God, like, I'm desperate. I need this person. I need that person. And no, like, you want to give it time. You want to let the feelings come natural. You want that feeling to grow naturally. You don't want it to be something that is forced. And sometimes when you're in a new relationship and you kind of tell your partner tells you, oh, I love you and stuff. Now, that person that you just told, they feel like they have to say it back, and you don't want them to feel that way. So I think it's better to just really take your time with these relationships, and even if you have those feelings, conceal it just a little bit. Give yourself more time to get to know the person and see who they are, because like we always say, early in a relationship, everything is always great. People are on their best behavior. They want to show you the great side of themselves, and that's normal. But when y'all start to really get to know each other, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So, now the fifth thing that makes people look desperate in new relationships, guys, is showing up at your partner's job unannounced. This one to me, I feel like is golden, it's obvious, it's set in stone. Anyone knows, like, when you first get into a new relationship with someone, even though you want to be there for them and be supportive and everything like that, showing up unannounced at a person's job is just unacceptable. It's just something you don't do. You never know what you're going to see. You never know how that person is going to take it. Like, if I'm just dating someone and it's a new relationship and then all of a sudden they show up at my job, to me that's a little creepy, because if you didn't call me, if you didn't call me to ask if it was okay, then it's like, are you trying to catch me in something? So don't do that, because it'll make you look desperate, and it'll also make it seem like you don't have anything better to do. Call your girl or your man. Find out if they okay with that. Make sure that they cool with that, because you want to show them that you respect them. And in order to do that, you can't be just showing up at a person's job, because it makes it seem like you're trying to catch them in the act. That's what it seems like. Now, the sixth thing that makes people look desperate in new relationships, guys, is being too available. It is a such thing as being too available, meaning every time a person calls you, you're there. Every time a person texts you, you're there. Every time they tell you, meet me here or there, you're there. It's okay to be there for your new partner, but you also have to let them know that you have a life outside of that relationship, meaning the relationship is important to me, but I do other things on my own. You still go out and do all the things you was doing before that you love to do, that brings happiness and peace of mind into your life. But you have to let them know, like, I'm still here for you, but I do have other things that I like to do by myself, or with my friends. So what I realize about a lot of relationships is that when people get into new relationships, they like throw their all into a relationship, and they cut off their friends and they cut off their families, and no one else matters but that one person. Now, the reason why I say that's a bad thing is because what you're doing is you're just pushing other people out of your life, and next thing you know, you're only going to have that one person. And if that one person happens to leave, guess what? Now you're all alone. Or maybe that person might feel like you're a little too clingy. Maybe they might feel like they can't breathe. It's so many different things, and it's so many different ways to look at it. So you always want to make sure you establish something separate than your relationship. Still have a private life of your own, a separate life of your own. You have your own set of friends. This way that person could go do them and you could go do you, and y'all could come back and tell each other how everything was. So I think that that's so very important, because I realize in new relationships, people just cut everybody else off and make it about that one person. And that's not always a good thing. It makes you look desperate. Now, the seventh thing that makes people look desperate in new relationships, guys, is making plans for the future too soon. Now, if you've been with this person for about a month or two, and already y'all talking about getting married and having kids and living this lavish life, or starting a business together, I feel like it's a little bit too soon for that. You still in the honeymoon stage. Y'all still getting to know each other stage. So you got to take those baby steps. You got to crawl before you walk. And a lot of people get in relationships and they start running. They forget about my painting, but they forget about, they forget about crawling, and they forget about jogging and then running, walking and then running. They just get into a relationship and zoom, Speedy Gonzalez. Like, and that's a problem, because if you move too fast and you guys don't know each other, guess what? That relationship is not going to last, and it probably won't end well. But anyways, the bonus for today, guys, on the mistakes that people make that make them look desperate in new relationships, is allowing your partner to meet your family way too soon. and to meet your friends way too soon. I feel like it's important for you guys to get to know each other and to see what each other is about before you go opening the door and bringing in other opinions and other this and other that. Because sometimes when you allow your new partner to meet your family and your friends, they may say certain things that makes your partner feel uncomfortable. They may do certain things to break that relationship up. Maybe they don't want to see you happy. Maybe they don't want to see you in that relationship. Maybe they don't want to see you successful and married and having a good life. So that's why you got to keep family and friends away from your new relationships, because you don't want anything to tamper with that. Sometimes that's like mixing oil and water. The two just don't mix. Take time to get to know your partner, see what your new partner is about, and fill them out. And y'all establish something that's so solid that no one could come between y'all and break y'all up. And that's how strong the bond has to be. Because when you start meeting family and friends, they tamper with that relationship. Anyways, I hope that everything we discussed today helps you guys to open up your eyes to the 7 things that make people look desperate in new relationships, plus that bonus tip, guys. If you can relate to this video, give it a huge thumbs up. And like I always say, guys, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, because there's so much more to come. And of course, visit my website, adaycreations.com. It's always in the link down below. Until the next video, guys. Peace.